The following gameplay footage took place between Friday the 28th of March and Sunday the 30th of March. Welcome to Wildstar Beta.
Hello and welcome to Tiny Blue Games. Today we're playing Wildstar and we're going to look at my engineer PvP build. To start off with, for my engineer, I like to play defensive, so a tank stance, which you also pop to have your armor suit to stay very healthy during fights, and especially for large AoE fights in the center over flags or stuff like that, very handy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at my amps quickly. I put a large amount into this hybrid support and utility for the increased maximum shield capacity and the increased PvP defense. I also have all the way down for cooldown reduction for my stun, which is nice, and I also have it going up for increased deflect critical chance and increased deflect chance in general. So I'm going to head over to the abilities, and if we look at our action bar, your number one ability is going to be Pulse Blast, which is kind of what all engineers use. You've got your just general Pulse Blast like this. You want to get people in the center, obviously, but it covers a nice range. And then I use Electrocute. Electrocute's good. You can also use Mortar Strike. It's not bad. Mortar Strike's harder to pull off in PvP, simply because you need people in the center of it, but it does more burst damage if you're into that kind of PvP. Next we have the stun, which is an obviously must-have stun. It stuns 5 people, or up to 5 people, I guess, if you hit them all. Really big help. I mean, you know, just wonderful to pair up with Electrocute or something like that. Now this is where my build gets slightly different. I've got Unsteady Miasma, and we're gonna just talk about it. If you put it down, it'll hit the first target and it'll create a zone around them. As you can see, that creates a sort of circle. Inside that circle, enemies get Blunder for 5 seconds, and they also get ticks of damage. So if you put it on a flag or a Moody Mask, very good. The people who have Blunder have a 26% chance, 26% more chance to deflect when attacking you. And now this is really important because A, you take less damage, and B, whenever you deflect, I get to use feedback, which deals 995 technology damage to 5 foes, which is a really big hit. It's got a 7-second cooldown, but when you keep on using that over and over again in a fight, it takes down a lot of AoE damage. We move to my next sort of a pop-up skill, which is Quick Burst, which every time I crit, it has a chance to, or it goes up every time I crit. With a 7-second cooldown too. So you're rotating between these two buttons as your quick burst damage, and one of them should be up all the time, if not 2 of them. Finally, I take the urgent withdrawal skill as my last one, not only for the get away kind of maneuvering skill, but also for the snare, and almost like it is not apparent when you're looking at the skill, but it does a lot of damage if you do them right back to back. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I do against Ryan here. He's on his Esper, and we're just going to have a duel, and I'm going to show you some of the skill combinations I do, and we'll talk about it.
Alright, so we're about to start the duel here. To start the duel, I'm kind of wanting to keep my distance from him, being a ranged class. He's also a ranged class, so it's not a huge deal. Keep a Pulse Blast on him to get up Electrocute and to try and get my procs. I got a Burst right there, and I got the feedback that I'm going to use as well right here. I'm going to stun him right here, and I'm going to put him inside of the Unsteady Miasma to make sure he gets a Blunder on him while I continue to attack. For more deflect chance, and now you're going to see me use Urgent Withdrawal to sort of stay with him, to snare and to do damage. He's using a pet on me, so I want to make sure that I snare the pet and get Unsteady Miasma on the pet as much as possible, so that it's not doing as much damage to me. Electrocute whenever it's up, obviously, and then use your stun whenever you can with Miasma. Here you see me stun and use both my procs back to back, which kind of changed the tide of this fight. I'm going to avoid his sort of knockdown, and he was going to drop a bunch of stuff on me if I avoided it with Urgent Withdrawal. So I flip between using it as a damage skill and an avoid skill. You see me just keeping my distance, making sure that the pet doesn't get too many hits on me, and just always watching your procs is a big thing. Now, I could use my armor suit more often in this fight, maybe. I used it a few times here, or I used it once, I guess. I like to use it for the sort of the end when things are getting crazy, usually. I don't click it here, however, because I feel like things are going okay. Just paying attention to my procs, making sure I'm getting every bit of damage out at the end here, where it's a close fight, but I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. Just using everything I can to do the quickest burst damage I can. And there's the victory rate there. So for ability points, you really want to spend them on the skills that you use the most, so just make sure you know which ones you use the most and make sure you build those up. I use the stun a lot. I also use a lot of the procs and stuff like that. If you want to see some battleground footage, be sure to check out my other video. I've got one of the Tiki Temple and one of the second battleground, so check those out, and thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to like it. If you have a comment about it, or a suggestion for a future video, please leave one. If you have friends, share it. And finally, and most importantly, subscribe. Honestly, only one of these is red. Click it.